The country is in a sorry state when anybody can just casually try and assassinate a presidential candidate. This is just insane. So the situation, a guy named Ryan Ruth tried to assassinate Donald Trump yesterday. Donald Trump was playing golf at his golf course. This guy made his way onto the course at some point, was hiding in a bush, had two backpacks, a rifle described as an AK-47, and a GoPro that he was planning on filming the assassination with. And fortunately, the Secret Service did their job. They saw the guy, they opened fire upon him. He ran. A bystander was able to get a picture of the car and the license plate, which allowed law enforcement to chase this guy down, find him, capture him, and now he is in custody. So now today, we have uncovered, or somebody online on Twitter has uncovered a video of an interview of this guy when he was over in Ukraine, apparently. So let's watch that video.
Please tell me who you are and why are you here?
I'm 56 from the U.S., from North Carolina originally. So I live in Hawaii now, so flew all the way from Hawaii here. So the question as far as why I'm here, to me, you know, a lot of the other conflicts are gray, but this conflict is definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil. This is a storybook, you know, any movie we ever watched, this is definitely evil against good. I mean, we're battling a situation here where, you know, the Ukrainians and the rest of the world are caring and kind and generous and unselfish. And
all right, just to clarify again, this is him in Ukraine, and he's talking about the Ukraine-Russia war.
And take care of one another, and it's just a matter of, you know, we need to stand up for that. That is the most important thing in the world, is just to show human beings that we're kind and we're caring and that we take care of one another and that the world is united so that we feed each other and make sure that, you know, we all move forward as one collective whole unit.
It's kind of interesting. It's ironic that he's talking about kindness and taking care of every human being, things like that, and he's the guy that tried to assassinate Donald Trump. It is very ironic. I don't know if he took a turn for the worse after his experience here in Ukraine. I'm not sure what happened, but man, it is very ironic that he is the one talking about us needing to be kind to one another, you know, taking care of your fellow human being and stuff like that.
So, you know, we feel the pain of one country's failure and their conflicts, and we enjoy the successes of other countries that are doing good, and we all work together. And for some reason, Russia does not grasp this concept that we're all one unit, and we have to get along and work together and be normal human beings.
Yeah, what's weird is, I mean, I kind of agree with him. You know, Russia is, or at least the government of Russia, and specifically Vladimir Putin, is crazy, like crazy for what he's doing, right? He's absolutely an international bully. That's what he is. And so I completely agree that any country's government, or any bully like Putin that's trying to take over other countries, just trying to move in and just take control like that and just slaughter people, just absolutely destroy a nation like that, they should be stopped. They should absolutely be stopped. The international community should come together and stop that person, that country, that evil government, right? I mean, if you could say anyone appears to be evil, or any country's government appears to be evil, I would say Russia is one that you could definitely say that about. And so I do agree with him. And so that's what makes this weird. The attempted assassination was performed by this guy, and he speaks some real facts here. I mean, he doesn't seem crazy or anything by this clip here.
This is 2022. We have to work together. It seems asinine that we have a leader in a country that does not understand the concept of being unselfish and being generous and being kind, and just the basic moral values that are required by human beings these days.
I am not sure what he's talking about here with being selfish, because the United States government is sending a ton of money over to help Ukraine. So I can't really call that selfish. I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to here. Maybe he's just meaning not the actual amassing of forces and sending over a ton of physical forces to start, you know, World War III or something crazy. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's referring to, but I cannot say that the U.S. government has been selfish by any means by not helping Ukraine, because they definitely are monetarily, and with, I believe, with equipment as well. So yeah, it's strange that he says it like that.
It blows my mind.
And what are you doing here in Ukraine?
My initial goal was to come and fight. I think everybody around the globe should be motivated to come here and support the Ukrainians and support the army, no matter what gender, age, anything. Everybody should be here.
That's actually kind of crazy. That's pretty impressive. I mean, you have to be able to take a look, just step outside yourself and listen to what he actually just said there. I doubt so many, like the vast majority of people, if they were asked point blank, hey, would you go over in person and fight for Ukraine? I bet a lot of them, most of them, maybe even like 98% of them, a crazy high number would say no. They would not do that. Myself included. I don't think I would go over there and fight in person for Ukraine. Sure, I would send money. Sure, I would, support in that way. But going over there physically, I mean, I can respect that. I can respect that one aspect about this guy, that he was willing to do that. Like, he's physically in Ukraine because he came over to fight, to fight for their country, for them, to help them. That's something to respect, but it's just crazy that he has one character bonus, and then the rest of it is flawed, obviously, if he's willing to push himself to, I should just assassinate Donald Trump. I should just take out one of our presidential candidates. That is crazy. That's absolutely insane.
Supporting the army, but I'm 56, so initially they were like, well, I have no military experience, so they're like, you're not an ideal candidate. So they said, not right this minute. So plan B was to come here to Kyiv and promote getting more people here. We need thousands and thousands and thousands of people here fighting with the Ukrainians. We need, we've got 190 countries around the world, and we need thousands from all of them. If the governments will not send their official military, then we civilians have to pick up the torch and make this thing happen. And we've gotten some wonderful people here, but it's a small fraction of the number that should be here.
As he's talking, I'm kind of thinking about his behavior, his facial expressions and how he's acting in general. And he doesn't seem like somebody who's crazy. Like, he's not acting like a crazy, insane person by any means. No, he seems very measured and under control, and he's speaking coherently. He doesn't seem like he might be like schizophrenic or something, like paranoid or, just out of whack in any crazy way to me. Like, he must obviously have some sort of screw loose if he was willing to let himself go to the point of, I'm just going to shoot the presidential candidate, Donald Trump. He's got to have some kind of screw loose, but it's just not evident in what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing that from this video.
If we have 5,000, to 10,000 people here fighting, that is just a minuscule amount of the 5 billion people on the globe. We need everyone here fighting.
Just want to clarify there. I heard 5 billion. I know he's probably just trying to relate because he said 5 and then to throw in another 5, I guess. Or maybe he just doesn't know the number. But I was pretty sure we were either at 8 billion or very close, and we are. We're at like 7.95 billion people on the planet, so a bit more than 5 billion.
That's why I'm in Kyiv. So every project that I promote is about getting people here to support the Ukrainians. We were at a critical juncture in this war where we are sitting on the fence as far as whether good or evil is going to win. Right now we're looking at a situation where the world is waning, and it's thinking that this is important or not. And we're at a point where, all right, are we going to stand for humanity, for human rights, for everything that is good with the world, or are we just going to ignore it? If everybody is complacent and doesn't join this fight, then guess who's going to win? It might take 10 years, but we're going to lose this battle if everyone around the globe does not stop what they're doing and get off the couch and come to Ukraine and defend the human rights of everyone around the globe.
I kind of understand. I mean, a lot of what he's saying makes sense and is good in a way in this video, but I can kind of see how he just seems like an extremist. He doesn't seem totally crazy or something, or just off his rocker. He doesn't actually seem like that to me from this video. The way he's composing himself and the way he's speaking and everything, he seems like an extremist. like a fanatic. He seems like a fanatic, like just someone so over the top, so dedicated and devoted and honed in on this mission or vision. That's what it seems like to me.
This is the most important thing going on in the world today. So sitting around and letting life go on as normal and complaining about gas prices and complaining about, your luxury life in whatever country you live in is unacceptable. As human beings, we must support each other. We cannot turn our backs on anyone around the world and expect the problem to go away. So I've been dealing with Russia for my entire life. We had one period where it was okay, but now we've let it slip back into terrorism. So it's just, the world needs to respond.
Again, it's so bizarre to me. Like he's got a good message. Like he really does. We got to take care of each other. The world, it's all about humans coming together and all that. It's a good message. It really is. I mean, it's a good-hearted message. And then it's just weird that it's coming from this guy who seems totally sane on the outside. I mean, obviously we can't see the inner workings of his mind, but then you see that he tried to assassinate Donald Trump. It doesn't match up. Something happened, or we're just not getting a clear picture from this interview. But either way, it doesn't match up to me. It's so weird. I mean, even being an extremist, it's like he doesn't seem like somebody from this video that would go to that step of like, okay, you know what? I just need to shoot Donald Trump and then that'll fix things. Like, it's just wild. It's so weird.
Why world leaders are not sending military is beyond me. We're going to have to elect new leaders the next go around that have a backbone and that have the fortitude to say, hey, we're not going to tolerate this type of behavior. This type of behavior is unacceptable anywhere, any place. So it's totally unacceptable. And why people are not responding, I do not know.
What impressed you the most since you are here?
My trip to Irpin was pretty emotional. So, going and seeing the buildings that were burned and destroyed and things of that nature. I think more emotional for me is just talking to the guys that have come here. When you talk to a 20-year-old guy that sold everything he owns to come here to fight, that is heroism. He's coming here to risk his life for humanity, for the Ukrainians. Guys that sell everything they own to come here.
Okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it a lot more clearly now. This guy, I mean, he's getting literally emotional right now in the interview about all this, about the stories, about what he's seen. He is indeed the most radical, I think. And I don't know, maybe it's something to do with the way Donald Trump kind of talked about his image of how he would handle the Russia-Ukraine situation, and he said he would have it done in a day, something like that. I wonder if that has something to do with it. That maybe this guy imagined, it's going to be over in a day because he's just going to give in. He's just going to stop sending money to Ukraine to support and let Russia take over, something like that. That's the best thing I can come up with right now. He thinks that Donald Trump is just going to let Putin and Russia win. And so he decided he's so obviously emotional about this Ukraine situation. And rightly so. I mean, the stuff over there going on is crazy. Like, I can understand that he gets emotional, but so he's also a radical with all of that intense emotion. And so I guess it just radicalized him even more. And he's just like, you know what? This is the solution. If Donald Trump's going to let Putin win, I got to take him out. I guess that's what he came to. I don't know for sure. Again, I don't know the inner workings of his mind, but that's kind of makes sense from what I can see here.
And support the Ukrainians while others sit at home and do nothing. It's totally mind-blowing how we have this divide of people that are selfless and courageous and wonderful and willing to sell everything they own to come here and support, keep people from getting killed, to shelter kids and protect Ukrainians, and others that just, want to sit at home and not. It's just, it's an indictment of our entire human society to say, hey, where do we stand? Do we stand for good?
Man, it is so weird hearing this guy talking about these heroes coming over, trying to keep people from getting taken out. And then he's the one that tried to take out Donald Trump. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. The only thing that I can come to is that he was radicalized further by what he saw here and then hearing Donald Trump's speech and thinking, okay, he's just going to give up. He's going to let Putin win. And so I got to take him out. That's it. Nothing else makes sense. I mean, how do you make sense of a obviously unstable person? If they're willing to go to that length, he must be unstable. It doesn't matter what we see in this video. I know he's speaking coherently. His logic seems sound. You know, he has kind of a good message in a way. But obviously he was able to go to a crazy extreme length that no one should ever go to. It's just it's hard to reconcile in my mind, this person versus the obvious, unhinged assassination attempt guy,
Or do we just not care? I mean, does the world not care? That's the feeling that I wrestle with every day in my interactions with everybody. Every one of us is responsible for the outcome of this war. Every one of us. By our actions and what we do. And, when I call back home and say, hey, I need $5 so I can, put enough money together to get a vest for a Ukrainian, and I get no response, I'm like, I'm not sure that the world is as wonderful as I once thought it was. I had thought that everyone would respond, very generously and unselfishly, and you don't have to come. But, if I ask for $5 to buy a vest to save a Ukrainian life, it seems like that would be a no-brainer, but I increasingly get more disappointed in humanity.
Increasingly getting more disappointed in humanity. More disappointed in the responses that he's getting. More disappointed in the reactions. Yes, it is becoming very clear. This guy was insanely radicalized by what he experienced, what he's seen, and he basically, he tried to be a part of the mission, the system, tried to help out within the confines of like what other people might be doing, or establish systems that he could contribute to. And it seems like he got so radicalized that he just decided to take the whole thing into his hands. Like, okay, if everything's going to go to crap in my eyes, and this guy is obviously the problem to him in his eyes, right? I'm not saying Trump's the problem, but I'm just saying, like, the way this guy sees it, he's saying if Trump's the problem, then I just need to get rid of him. And so he just took everything into his own hands. It was that last step, I guess, and it just pushed him over the edge. And he's like, okay, you know what? Trump says he's going to end the Russia war. I see that as him giving up and giving Putin everything he wants. So I'm just going to take this into my own hands and just take him out. I guess that's what he did, or what he tried to do.
Beginning to question whether or not we're going to end up on the right side of this equation.
So you are working with the International Legion.
Yes.
And you are trying to convince people to help, to donate, and to join.
Yeah.
My final question is, what would you say to the people in order to convince them to join the International Legion, or to donate for it, or to be involved in the humanitarian aid to Ukraine?
Right. It's just extremely important, the whole thing. As far as joining the military, yes, if you have some military experience or know people with military experience, encouraging them to come and fight. We have units all over the place. So, there were some leadership issues initially, but we've got so many units available to us: Georgian, Crimean, Ukrainian, Territorial Defense, Foreign Legion. We have, so many paramilitary groups.
I can't help but wonder how this guy ended up so radical, like so insanely radical. Like, is he not socializing with people, or is he in some sort of like echo chamber bubble where he only talks to people who talk about these extreme ideas that he does? It's just weird. It's weird that it ended up like this, because the guy that I'm seeing, yes, he's upset. He feels strongly about things, but he's speaking coherently. He doesn't seem out of whack. Like, he's upset. He's emotional even. But is this really the guy that goes to assassinate Donald Trump? It's just hard for me to line up those two things here, because I'm not quite seeing it. I can see how it would have taken that last step. I can imagine it, but it's bizarre. It is so bizarre.
I put a 74-year-old Japanese guy in a unit. So, we have girls in units. So we have two girls that are in the unit up the street. So any gender, any age, any skill level to no skill level. But yeah, if you want to fight, come here and see me, and I'll put you in a unit so you can go fight. But regardless of that, we should have thousands upon thousands of people standing here with the Ukrainians. This Maiden Square, Independence Square, we should have millions of people in this square, filling the square from every country around the world. And while we don't, I don't understand. I'm here every day with all the flags from all the supporting countries, with the memorials for the people that have died. And, you know, I've had several people come, but just a handful, you know.
Yeah, that really seems like what happened here. He's talking about how I don't understand. There should be tons of people. There should be thousands of people, millions of people here helping out. I don't know what people are doing. It just seems like he got pushed over the edge and it was the last straw and he decided to take things into his own hands. He's like, okay, if these other people aren't going to do something, I'm going to do something. And that's what he decided to do. Okay, I'll try to take out Donald Trump because he talked about ending the war in one day with Putin. And that, to me, to this guy, it seems like, you know, he's thinking, oh, that's going to mean he's going to give up Ukraine to Putin. Wow. This was just so sad and pathetic. Sad and pathetic, honestly, to see this guy who actually had a decent message in this interview. In this interview, he was talking some things that actually made sense. I mean, you know, morals and, you know, take care of your fellow human, like care about people, you know, kindness, goodness. Yeah, this is all good stuff. Anybody in their right mind could get behind that. You know what I mean? It's just weird to see that this guy who was talking coherently, talking logically, you know, didn't seem off his rocker, seemed very sound of mind, if not a little bit radical, right? Or maybe a lot radical, but, you know. And then he gets pushed just enough, just over the edge to decide, you know what? This is the last straw. I'm going to take things into my own hands. And, you know, he tries to take out Donald Trump. It's insane. It just sucks to see people go this way.